So it is spring, what is usually a very hopeful and generative time of the year. And the liturgical calendars of many religions reinforce this. Today, of course, is Easter Sunday, when Christians find hope in the message of Jesus Christ's resurrection, the ultimate triumph of life over death. This past week, Jewish friends and families gathered, many virtually, for the Passover Seder, to retell the story of the ancient Hebrews and their escape from slavery in Egypt to freedom. During the Seder, people recall a time when their ancestors were not free, when 10 plagues struck the land of Egypt, when people cried out for their ordeal to end. Just like the Easter story, it is one of hope, that after slavery comes liberation. Also, with the arrival of spring, for many it marks the arrival of the goddess Ostara, coming to bring renewal to the land, telling us that life will return one way or another, pandemic or not. All these stories, the Ostara story, Easter story, the Hebrew liberation story, tell us that after pain, after darkness comes renewal. And with this renewal comes hope. But yet, our hope can be hard to find these days. Just like in that hymn, "Come Sing a Song with Me," that says, "I'll give you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time." One of my colleagues has commented that how a song can be so insipid and profound at the same time. And wow, is that ever true? For me, suddenly this sing-songy, juvenile sounding kind of hymn took on a new relevancy and a new meaning. I'll give you hope when hope is hard to find. The fact that we can provide hope to each other and we can take turns providing hope when we have to, when any one of us is finding hope, is hard to find. That hope is transferable and renewable, and with any luck, just as contagious as COVID-19. Many of last week's Passover Seders took place through fuzzy, crackly, and misbehaving Skype and FaceTime and Zoom calls. I heard that the Zoom Seders even became known as Zaders. Yet, despite all the obstacles keeping friends and family apart, and the imperfect rituals where words were not all heard and singing in unison was nearly impossible, I am hearing that the message of hope still came through loud and clear. The power of ritual is not determined by perfection. It is determined by connection. A ritualized moment of connection can transcend distance and separation. And that's why I think it's important to continue our rituals right now, the religious ones and the non-religious ones, even if they can't be exactly as they've always been. They still have meaning. They still provide us with connection. They still provide renewal and hope, reminding us that we can stay home and stay connected, and that life will continue and is continuing, and life will return to some semblance of the way we knew it, one way or another. Now, we Unitarian Universalists don't always find hope in the way that many other religious folks do. I often wonder if my job would be easier if I could say things like, "Don't worry, it's in God's hands." But, you know, we're really not a Jesus take the wheel kind of people. Many of us, including me, are not satisfied with those types of answers. Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams described hope for liberal religious people as a type of optimism, an optimism that comes from us knowing that we can make a difference in our lives and in our world. There's always something that we can do. This is not a naive hope or optimism. It's a hope that lives and exists amongst a world of uncountable tragedies and injustices. But our hope right now in the middle of this pandemic is found in doing what we can do, with hand washing, with masking, with social distancing, and helping others, even though there is so much that is beyond our control right now. Now, some in our congregation have experienced layoffs and other hardships during this time. Please let me know if you've been impacted. We would like to do everything we can to help each other. And for those of us who are secure in our finances, in our food, in our housing, it is our responsibility to help build up hope in others. Help them find the hope that is so hard to find, helping those in need. We've all heard about the disproportionate impact of the COVID-19 virus on minority communities and the poor. The societal ills and inequalities that exist under what many would call normal circumstances are amplified to extremes during a crisis like this. So please offer your support to Corpus Christi Mutual Aid, our Tacos Not Bombs bagged lunch program, or through numerous and worthy organizations that are helping people stay housed and fed and safe from COVID-19. Like the hymn says, let's bring hope when hope is hard to find. In closing, I'd like to share this UU affirmation of hope by Loretta Williams. Please join me in affirming our hope. You're welcome to say yes or amen at the end of each line, and there's no reason to be shy because you're on mute and no one outside of your household can hear you. Let us begin. We, the bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We pledge to work for that community in which justice will be actively present. We affirm that there is struggle yet ahead. Yet we know that in the struggle is hope for the future. We affirm that we are co-creators of the future, not passive pawns. And we stand united in affirmation of our hope and vision of a just and inclusive society. We affirm the unity of all persons. We affirm the siblinghood that allows us to touch upon each other's humanity. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. Within ourselves and within community, we will discover the strength not to hide in indifference. Affirming that hope, publicly expressed, energizes and enables us to move forward. Together, we pledge action to transcend barriers, be they racial, political, economic, social, or religious. We pledge to make our tomorrows our todays. Amen, and blessed be. So in this time when we are apart, unfortunately, our church community that is continuing rather strongly through this difficult time still needs to pay its bills. And so many of you have been helping so much by setting up automatic checks coming to you from your bank directly to us. This is the most cost-effective and efficient way you can continue to help our church community. So thank you to everyone who is doing that. But this time of offering is also a great time to sit down and write a check to mail off to the church, or to give online using the link that Elise will put in the chat screen. And there are also instructions that will be on your screen shortly. We're not asking for any additional money, just to keep current on your pledges. And just doing that in and of itself will ensure that there is a physical church to come back to when all of this is over.
Don't worry, be happy. Yeah.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, be happy.
Today, I have two sets of words, one for closing words and one for the benediction and chalice extinguishing, because they were both pretty terrific. Our closing words are from the well-known Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson, who seems to have intuited in an uncanny observation exactly what we're going through right now. It seems like his words apply very well to this time of social distancing and mask wearing. He says, "The heart knoweth. We have a great deal more kindness than is ever spoken. The whole human family is bathed with an element of love like a fine ether. How many persons we meet, whom we scarcely speak to, whom yet we honor, and who honor us. How many we see in the street or behind a door, whom though silently we warmly rejoice to be with. Read the language of those wandering eye beams. The heart knoweth." So as we come to the end of our service, our final music will be a very familiar tune to us. It is "Lean on Me," but this version is a 1973 performance by the song's writer and original performer, Bill Withers, who died recently at the age of 81. And of course, his song's message is as important as ever. But before our final music, I will extinguish our chalice. And I will share these words from the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. "Never has it been more true than now. We extinguish this flame, but the sparks within us remain alight. For each of us in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparkling through space to one another, connecting us invisibly, but palpably. We are one. And from every window, our light shines." So, my friends, please stay right here if you would like to join in for virtual coffee time chat, or join us again this afternoon at 12:30 for learning and discussion of the Yoga Sutras, or kids and families return at 2 p.m. for children's religious exploration. We're looking forward to seeing you soon on screen. So my friends, it's wonderful to see you all this week. Go in peace, walk in beauty, and blessed be.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have been, you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. Why you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Hey, I just on.